Why do people buy at the height just before it crashes? Why don't they buy when it's low? We all know, like, if Neiman Marcus had a sale, we'd be shopping. But and they said, well, Neiman Marcus is going to raising their prices 20%. They said, oh, good, we'll wait till it's high of 20%. And that's what people do with investments. So, Bert, psychologically, why do people buy just before it crashes when it's high as can be?
Yeah, it's human nature. For example, before we were talking about options, do you know that in October, we saw the biggest call buying option binge in the history of the United States? Everybody was buying call options on the stock market. When everybody's doing something, you want to do exactly the opposite if you want to make money.
Because I was 20 years ago, I was doing options trading. I just said, I'm going to buy the hard asset. But a call means you call up. You expect the market the price to go up. Is that how you do it? Call up.
That's right.
Put down.
That's a call option. Yeah. Right. And a put option is you're betting on the market to go down.
Right.
But everybody wants call options because, the market is going to boom. Oh, the Fed is going to pivot. And, the economy, we're going to have a soft landing. Soft landing. Grimm's fairy tales is the closest thing you get to a soft landing. It never happens.
It's going to be one hard one because I think this could be the biggest in history. I hate to be so pessimistic.
Exactly. That's exactly what we've been saying. The numbers confirm that. These are not guesses, The numbers confirm it. We have never had so much debt. When you consider the debt of the United States is $30 trillion. Trillion. We never used to think about trillion because it's too big of a number to think about,
That's on balance sheet debt.
Yes.
What about off balance sheet social debt?
Oh, yeah. That's not even counted.
No.
Yeah.
Well, what's happening is interest rates were coming down. The debt was going up. So when they raised the interest rate, the debt got more expensive.
Exactly.
And now the question, who pays for that debt, is the taxpayer.
Yeah, the failures. The taxpayer will have to bail out the banks and these institutions and so on.
So let me once again pump your letters called Dohmen, D-O-H-M-E-N, Capital Research. And I call it the Wellington letter. But it is information. He's not selling you stocks, bonds, gold, silver, or anything. He's selling you information. What you do with it is up to you. But that's the most important thing, because we see at Rich Dad, your greatest asset is between your left ear and your right ear. Called your brain. It's also your greatest liability if you're not putting good stuff in it, right?
Yeah. My father said that when I was a little boy in World War II Germany, okay? And, the Nazis were coming. They didn't like you. They would take everything you had. My father said, get smart. What you have in your brain, they cannot take from you.
Right. And unfortunately, we interviewed a mother and daughter, but what they're putting in the daughter's 15. She says, I can't believe what they're putting in my brain at school.
Yeah. It's tough now.
What the teacher was telling them then, that the recession was over and happy days were here again. She's a school teacher. She's teaching you that. And guys like you and I are saying, we hope we're wrong, but this could be the biggest depression in history because the debt is so high and there's so much misinformation today. And that's why with the Rich Dad Radio Show, we do our best to have people who know what they're talking about. And let me repeat something Bert always says. If your financial advisor is under 40, they're too young. They don't have the scars yet, right, Bert?
That's right. Experience is so important, I'm a little bit older now than 40 years ago, but but it's still the same. You never want to be in a majority. When suddenly we see that the majority is starting to agree with our forecast, we say, okay, we got to change. Why should we be changing? because the majority is always wrong. If the majority were the place to be, then everybody would be driving a Bentley or a Mercedes or a Rolls Royce.
Yeah,
the majority is not.
I keep saying to all the young people, this is the most powerful entrepreneurial tool I've ever seen. I can call anybody all over the world and get information from all over the world on all this. And now I'm watching the YouTube video, and all of these young people are jumping on the bandwagon now, saying, oh, you should buy silver. Well, I've been buying silver since 1964, when I was 17 years old. When I first saw that dime turn to copper, I said, there's something wrong here. And then in 72, I was flying in Vietnam, and that little Vietnamese woman with the red teeth educates me as to what spot meant. Gold and silver are money throughout the world. And the U.S. dollar right now, I don't know where it is. But I don't trade foreign exchange, FX, they call it. Yeah. That's a whole nother specialized science. The most important thing, Bert, is over our years of experience, aren't crashes some of the best times to get rich?
Absolutely, but you want timing is everything. In fact, that is the motto on the Wellington letter. Timing is everything. And right now people are buying. We saw it in October with this huge spree in call buying. Everybody thinking it's the bottom of the market. So, of course, encouraged by financial TV and so on. And it's so totally false. We are now in the precipice of the next big plunge. Yes, this is the leg in a bear market where finally the institutions, the big money managers, the big money that's out there, where they check out, they say, this is terrible. We're not going to have a recovery. The worst is still ahead, and they start selling. But when they're selling, they have to have their shills going on TV and say, oh, this is the bottom or very close to the bottom. Yeah. Sometime next year, the Federal Reserve is going to reverse policy and so on. But what they don't say is that the moment the Fed changes its policy, that's when you have the biggest drop in the market, because the big smart money says they're only changing their policy to loosening money because things are so bad.
Yeah. And that's like, being the skipper of the Titanic saying, hey, ladies and gentlemen, free food and champagne in the dining room while they're manning the lifeboats, right?
Exactly.
That's what they're doing right now. This is November 2022. They're manning the lifeboats. They're front running the markets. They're getting out of Dodge, and they're telling everybody, oh, the recession's over. Don't worry, buy the dip.
Yeah.
The Fed's got your back. I'm going, holy moly. How stupid can you be? And then they watch, hey, Bert, then they watch.
It's not stupid. It's just uninformed.
Oh, no, Bert. That's called misinforming. They're saying, hey, free champagne. Well, say, can I get boat number 8 so I can get off of here?
Yeah. Well, I always say, always pretend that the people who want you to buy something, they're the thieves, Yeah. And so I've never trusted thieves with investment advice. But, this is such a great opportunity. Lehman Brothers, we said at the beginning of 2008, we're going to go into a financial crisis by year end. And everybody was, the economy is great, no recession in sight, was what the Fed chairman said to Congress and so on. It was all a bunch of baloney. Then we had Lehman Brothers going bankrupt on September 4th that year. And we gave advice to buy 5 different ETFs, inverse ETFs that rise when the market plunges. So those 5 had an average gain in the next 6 weeks of 72%.
Wow.
The best performer was up 91% in 6 weeks. Wow. See, these are the opportunities in a bear market. And most people, they say, no, in a bear market, you got to hide underneath the bed, Got to be. No, No, this is a great opportunity. Inform yourself, read, study. People think it's so easy to buy a stock. You just pick up the phone and tell the broker. Now it's even too easy because you can do it on your computer. There's nobody in between that can stop you from stupidity, So the people have to inform themselves.
Right.
This is a wonderful opportunity. We cannot change the trends, okay?
Right.
I wish I could, because then we wouldn't have a depression.
It's been a long time coming. Bert,
Yeah.
this one is a big one because it's a long time coming. And the debt has never been higher at any time. I cannot believe it. And they're raising interest rates into it.
Yes.
Holy
there's
moly.
an 80 to 90 year cycle that is very dependable. The last one was the Great Depression. And that's why I said in the early 2020 that we're going into depression. And I listed all the things we're going to see. We're going to see droughts, we're going to see famines, we're going to see locust swarms infesting Africa, and we're going to see wars.
Right.
And everything that was coming true by the end of last year, except the war. We didn't have a war yet. That came 2 months later in February of this year,
Right.
Ukraine.
Yeah.